Today I want to do a different kind of video, and it's actually a video I've wanted to do for quite a while. I just really wasn't sure how to approach it. But I want you to remember right up front, this video is not sponsored in any way. Tower Garden didn't give me anything. I got no discounts. The first one I bought on their website for the full like $1,000 with the light kit and all that stuff. And yes, it hurt the pocketbook. The second one I bought, Facebook Marketplace, $100. And yeah, there's a little bit of yellowing on it. It was obviously used outside. So I use this as my outside one, and with the sun's power, I grow the melons for the chickens. So I've got cantaloupe, canary melon, and watermelon growing in here. And then I just went through and planted a whole bunch of what they call the herb cells, or the higher capacity cells, with Swiss chard and kale that feed the chickens. I'm trying to grow as much of that as possible and supplement the chickens' diet, so obviously I don't have to buy as much chicken feed. Okay, now right from the get-go, both of them, my outside and my inside one, are the home series. One downfall to the home series in the outside environment is the tank is 13 gallons, whereas the ones you see with the big green bottom on them, those I think are 20 gallons. That makes a big difference on how often you have to put water in this thing. But if you're like me, and for years I was really worried about the whole hydroponic thing. Now they say it's aeroponic, call it what you want. I'm just telling you what Tower Garden says. The aeroponic goes right along in the hydroponic realm, but I think one of the big reasons that a lot of people don't get into hydroponic, aeroponic, any of that kind of stuff is they're so worried about mixing the chemicals and hurting the plants. I'm here to tell you, don't worry about it with the Tower Garden. It's super easy, and I'm gonna show you how. So for the rest of the video, let's go into my kitchen where I keep the other Tower Garden, because I'm getting ready to fire it up and get it going for the season with all my lettuces and that. Since my cherry tomatoes are going and everything that you put in salad, it's time to get the lettuce, kale, Swiss chard, all the good green leafy stuff for salads. We got to get that rolling, so that'll be ready about the time we get our big flush of cherry tomatoes and peppers and all that good stuff. Come with me inside, and I'm going to give you the ins and outs of these Tower Gardens and why I like them so much. I figured the best way to go through this and show you all this is to show you exactly how I do it. Now, I don't have a giant kitchen. You're in my kitchen right now. Over on the far wall, the stove, everything's behind you, but over on this wall, during the winter season, and I didn't even clean it up at all, this is the way it looks. We have one of these big rolling tables. Our island is one of those too, and we absolutely love it. But it doesn't leave us for much room for stuff like this. Once you put the light kit on here, this thing's big. It's got a big footprint. So what we do is we just unlock the wheels, we slide it down toward the hallway just a little bit, and we put it in the nook back there where, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there's a Berkey back there in the corner. But there's a lot of benefits to having this in the house. The one that Mrs. Chili Pepper loves the most is no bugs. When you're growing all your leafy greens, you don't have to worry about bugs. You're not worried about salmonella and all that other stuff that's going on in this world. And that just gives her a little bit of the peace of mind. So let me just take a minute. I'll move things around the way that we do it for the winter time, or at least the end of summer and through the winter time, and then bring you back and show you exactly how I set it up and tips and tricks for what works best for me with the Tower Garden. And just like that, we're in the corner and turned on. So one of the things that I really like about this is the light kit that comes with it. If you've grown indoor before, grown hydroponics before, anything like that, you know how important the lights are. And I was pretty skeptical when I first bought this that the lights were going to be as good as they are. But honestly, they are phenomenal. Hands down, get the light kit. Don't try to rig it up with your own lights. The light kit is a minimal cost if you're just investing in the whole thing anyway. So might as well just go the right way. I love how it's bendable. Funny thing is a couple of the videos that you guys saw from last year, if you've been with me that long, because I do kitchen videos sometimes in the wintertime, I'm over on that side of the camera. and I'll take these light kits and bend them up to give a whole bunch of light on the kitchen. So it's dual purpose for me. But I can tell you firsthand that these lights are absolutely enough to grow a ton of food. So definitely, if you can swing it, get the light kit, whether it be for the home or I forget what they call the other one. The light kit also has a really good working built-in timer. Another reason to get it. Let me show you. So don't be afraid of the timer. It's really easy. You flip them one way for daylight, the other way for dark, and every hour is listed on the wheel, and it just spins. Just like that. Then you can manually turn it on with the switch. Definitely a very good working functional light system. You can bend these lights in really close when they're really young seeds or seedlings. You can pull them out as they grow. I can't stress enough how much the light kit's gonna save you headaches. Now, I know a lot of my friends have talked about, I mean, they don't use these words, but basically they're intimidated by it. It's unbelievably basic. So I'm gonna run through the working parts of it, and I'll show you some tips about pieces that you use, and we'll do a quick setup on it and run it. And when we get done, you'll be confident enough to order one, set one up, and be ready to run in no time. Down at the base of the tower garden, super easy. It's just a magnetic plate. And if you look down inside there, you've got your water pump. And then let me see if I can get the camera down in there and show you. It just screws into the pump. And when I say screw in, I mean it literally has threads. You twist it into the pump. And then where you see the top of the hose, there's a spot at the very bottom of that tower where it just screws in right there, just like a garden hose. Nothing to worry about there. And then the way it tells you the water level inside is that little ball right there. As the water goes up, the ball floats, lifts, and then this piece here goes up and down and tells you how much water you've got. When the pump kicks on, it runs water right up the center, all the way up here to the top, and it's got a shower cap up here. These are held on just by these two little wing nuts. You don't need tools to put this together, but you'll see here in a little while the water comes out like a fountain, fills this up, and then these holes allow the water to rain down the outsides of this tower and provide water and nutrients to the roots of your plants. It's that easy. Let me show you how easy this goes together, just so you're not worried about that. Pull the little wing nuts off, and then after you do that, you just lift the pieces off. And if you look inside, it's just got those two rods that run all the way up both sides. They just screw in at the bottom, again with wing nuts. You don't need tools. And then when you get to the very top, all you have to do is line up the holes, give it a quick pat down, and then spin the wing nut down. And that's what holds the whole thing together. Really simple. And then your light kit just sets right in top, doesn't even screw in or anything. It's heavy enough to slide right in, so nothing to worry about. Just like that. Now let's take a look at the accessories, the things you're going to need to get it rolling. And it is really simple, so stick with me. Okay, first off, you got to have your little net cups that come with it. Now these are actually made for it. So be real careful with these. They're very flexible plastic. I haven't had any break-in or anything like that. But if you do, you're going to have to get them from Tower Garden. Now I don't use, they do have a little clip that just goes in there and holds the block. I don't do it that way. I still use what came with it, and it works fine for me. So it's really easy. You'll see that there's only a lip on half of the net and then not on the other half. The half that does not have the lip goes back. So just, and you'll see it does move it, it bends it just a little bit, and then just wiggle it and push, and it pops right in. Now let's talk about what goes in the net. Rockwool. Now you can buy the Rockwool from them and it does fit perfectly, but it's a 1.5 inch diameter Rockwool, which is kind of an odd size. A lot of your hydroponic grow stores, stuff like that, don't have that. Now you can buy a 2 inch and with some scissors just cut it down to 1.5 inches. That works just fine. Or if you look on Amazon, of course, they have everything. You can find 1.5 inch Rockwool. And I like the ones on Amazon because they have these tiny little holes where you put the seeds. And I put the seed down in there and then squeeze it together so it makes contact with the seed. So a lot cheaper on Amazon. You can get sheets of the Rockwool. Now here's what I mean by cutting it down. If you haven't used Rockwool before, they say it's from volcanic rock. It's somehow spun into a material. I don't know, but it just cuts with scissors very easy. It's almost like a coarse cotton, I guess you would call it. Now, the ones from Amazon, you do have to cut down just a little bit. So typically, I'll put it on an angle like this and just cut that solid edge off so it fits down in the cup a lot easier. Now, since we're on this topic of Rockwool, in the kit they send you these, and if you've started seeds before, you probably know what a humidity dome is. But that's all this is. They send you these to start your seeds in. You put your Rockwool inside just like you would your soil if you were using a humidity dome. And then put your seeds in there, fill it with water, and put it under lights, get it rolling. I'm gonna tell you, I don't have luck with that. I get algae like crazy, everything turns dark green. I don't really get good germination that way. I don't know why. Maybe it's me. Other people I'm sure have it figured out. But I'm going to show you what worked for me, and just save yourself the headache and do it this way. When you go to set it up for the first time, now you'll see right here's where you have to kind of push and then just slide her in there. Push it all the way down so it makes contact with the bottom. Just tends to work the best. What I do, go through, set up the whole thing with these little Rockwool cubes. We'll fill up the reservoir and get it rolling. I'll let it run for about 24 hours and it soaks the Rockwool really well. Then I'll go through and put the seeds right in it and not deal with the humidity dome and all the problems that come along with it. Just start your seeds right here. I'm telling you, it works way better. What else are you going to need? Now, there's plenty of little kits for checking pH. I know it's one of the things that scared me when I first got into anything with hydroponics, was not knowing how to deal with pH. So the easiest way I can tell you again is go on Amazon, get yourself a little pH meter like this. I found the box to this one. It was in the garage. It was like 13 bucks, 14 bucks. You've got a cap right here. You pull your cap off, power it on, and just dip the end in the water. My pH runs real high here, and it'll tell you what the pH is. I almost forgot something really important. Your pH up, pH up and pH down, they have them as part of it. So if you haven't done this before, when you measure your pH, if it's a little bit high, you can bring it down with the pH down. If it's a little bit low, you just bring it up with the pH up. It's really that simple. Don't overthink this. If you haven't done hydroponics before, you'll pick this up in no time. Then I'm telling you, the easiest way possible is from Tower Garden. Their minerals and nutrients. It's 2 parts. There's an A and there's a B. 20 milliliters per gallon of each. It doesn't get easier than that. You put your A in first, then once it's been flowing and it's diluted and mixed in, you put your B in. It's that easy. Everyone knows that I do promote the general hydroponics nutrients, just as easy, 3 parts, and there's a chart on the back of how to use it. Super easy again, by using a big old watering can. So this is 2.6 gallons. That's 13 gallons. So all I do is fill that all the way up the first time. I know there's 13 gallons in it. I put 20 milliliters per gallon. So 260 milliliters of A. I run the pump, let it circulate, put in 260 milliliters of B. Honestly, that's gonna last you a very long time. Now, once the level goes down and you wanna add some more, this is 2.6 gallons. I know that, so I just kind of round. 50 milliliters in one of these, pour it in there, top it off. It's that easy. I know there's a lot more to hydroponics. I'm telling you, with the tower garden, I haven't had to deal with that. Just put your nutrients in, pour it in there, especially with leafy greens. It's gonna work. I'll go ahead and fill this thing up. I'm not gonna make you watch the whole thing. I'll show you one clip of how easy it is just to pour in. I mean, all you're doing is filling it up. When you fill it up, you just want to fill it all the way up to the line. You know you have 13 gallons. Then get yourself a measuring cup that has the 250 mils on it, because we just put 13 gallons in at 20 mils per gallon. We're going to take part A, fill it up to 250, dump it in. Part A. You also want to make sure you rinse out your measuring device before you put your part B in here. I don't know firsthand, but I know it's a big deal talked about in hydroponics, is you don't ever want straight solution of an A mixing with a B. Apparently they can cancel each other out. That's a whole nother video, a whole nother deep dive that we could go into. But for now, rinse out your measuring device before you put B in. It's time to turn on the pump. So let's take a look at this. Now in an aeroponics system, or like one of your flood and drain systems, anything like that, your water doesn't have to run constantly. So they send you this easy, super easy timer to use. Let's go over to a plug-in so I can show you just kind of a basic about this. When you first plug this in, it's going to come up to what most people think is 0. And then if you push the button, it's going to go to what most people think is 1. It's actually outdoor, indoor. It's O and I. So for us, we're going to set it on the I. Indoor, outdoor, it runs in different intervals. Just set it for what you're doing. If it's inside, indoor. If you got it outside like my other one, outdoor. Then we just plug in the pump. So you can see how the water just runs up and trickles down in that one that doesn't have the pod. Over here, just let that keep running and you'll see that Rockwool start to get nice and soaked. And like I said, I mean, I start it today, I'll start putting seeds in tomorrow. There you can get a better view that way. It rains down on the roots and gives them everything they need. And the water drops all the way back into the tank. And that's why you hear so many things about how hydroponics uses less water. I know it seems like it uses a lot of water because you're filling up the big bucket. But I'm telling you, your first refill on that bucket isn't going to be for a month down the road if you're doing greens. Yes, the bigger the plant gets, or the bigger the plants get because of all the sites that are in here, then yeah, they drink a lot more water, especially if you have plants that bloom, whether it be tomatoes or anything like that. Yeah, they're going to drink a lot more, and that's where their other unit that has the 20-gallon tank would probably be preferable. But these home units look really nice. The light kit fits perfect. This is a fixture in my kitchen, and when I'm right here at the island, which my tripod is pushed up against the island that you just saw, when I'm in here cooking, I literally walk over to the tower garden, cut lettuce, kale, spinach, Swiss chard, cut it directly off of the plant and use it right here in the kitchen. And like I said, you don't have to worry about bugs. It's indoor. Everything is very clean. A lot nicer than outside. So if you have a spouse that doesn't like the dirt and the bugs and all that stuff, this is a great option for you too. So if you've contemplated getting one of these tower gardens, if you have the means, the ability, or the Facebook Marketplace to get a used one, use your resources, I promise you, you will enjoy it. Your biggest problem you're going to have, especially if you're using it like I am for greens inside, is you're not going to be able to eat as many greens as this thing produces. But as you know, I've got chickens out back, so nothing's going to go to waste this year. Also, you use the cut and come again method on this, so you're just cutting around that outside edge when you're making salads, that kind of thing, and it continues to grow, and it'll grow for months and months and months. This produces a ton of food, and it's super easy to use, and it's absolutely awesome in the wintertime. We're seeing this year if I can grow melons outside in the one I showed you at the beginning of the video. but I have grown cucumbers, tomatoes, and peppers in that one in my greenhouse, and they all work very well. I would not recommend doing tomatoes, things like that inside. It just gets way too big and out of control, and it's not worth it in my opinion. And one last bonus I saved for you in case you watch to the end. They also have these cool little cages that you can put on. They're all snapped together, no tools required, and it just gives some guidance as this stuff comes out. It can go over the cage and down, and then it keeps air flowing around the root zones like it's supposed to. So there you have it, another chili prepper review, and definitely I give it a thumbs up. I've had them for I think about 4 years. Well, I've had one for about 4 years. I bought the other one last year when it popped up on Facebook Marketplace, and like I said, although it's the home unit and I'm using it outside, I couldn't pass up $100 with the lights, everything. It was one of those unbelievable deals that the chili prepper normally doesn't get. As always, I'm trying to show you how to grow as much food as possible, and like I always say, you don't have to be a prepper to be prepared. I'm Steve from the Chili Prepper channel, and we will see you on the next one.